Welcome to the Lokar Car Show. I'm Sam Mudavi back in Greenville, Pennsylvania for part 2 of the Heritage Day Super Cruise. Welcome to the Lokar Car Show. This is gonna be one awesome car.
And I said, it doesn't even run yet. And look at it now, it's amazing.
Annual Heritage Day Super Cruise in downtown Greenville, Pennsylvania. There are so many cars here, it is absolutely packed. There are some rare cars this year and I hope to get to everyone. The weather is great and the local businesses are busy. The Majestic is cranking out their famous hot dogs and the cold drinks while Common Grounds is taking care of everyone's favorite coffee drinks. This is the first time I've seen a Cranbrook, and I'm gonna have Mark tell us all about it and what's underneath the hood and chassis of his Cranbrook.
It's 1952 Plymouth. What's rare about this car, the convertible, even makes it more rare. It has a Chevy engine, a Ford Mustang II front end, and a Ford Bronco 9-inch rear end. I used to have a C7 Corvette,
which is very hard to get in and out of.
Well, none of that. You can see I couldn't put this in it. So it was hard for me to get around. So my brother-in-law actually found the car, showed it to me on Facebook, showed me the trunk, and I took my buddy Maury Jansky up to Madison, Ohio, and we looked at the car, and I had him drive it because he really knows a lot about automobiles. He got out of the car and he said, Mark, you don't buy this car, I'm going to. So I said, okay. I didn't know how rare it was until I started going to car cruises, and of course, the people who realized it was rare were guys in their 80s and their 90s because they knew of the car.
So do you know how many years they made them and what years they were?
From what I understand, it was a 51 and 52 was the Cranbrook name.
Yeah.
But in 52, when we went against the Korean War, they stopped production on making automobiles and used the metal for the military. So in 53, when the production got back up, it wasn't a Cranbrook, it was a Cambridge and a something else, a Concorde and things like that.
I'm here with Dennis, and behind me we got a 1955 Dodge that was found in a barn underneath a whole bunch of stuff that, in my opinion, may have protected it, right?
Yes.
It's only got 6,000 miles on it.
6,000 original miles.
And what have you done to it to get it to here?
New tires, new brake wheel cylinders, new exhaust from the Y-pipe back.
What about any fuel lines, carburetor, none of that?
Some brake lines.
It was in a garage for how long?
I was working at a lady's house. I don't even know how we got on the subject, but she mentioned that she should sell her father's car before the garage fell on it.
Right.
She was in her 80s, so she didn't even know what it was. So I went out and looked, thought it was a Dodge Coronet, and I told her when she decided to sell it, let me know, I'd be interested and come and look at it a little better. She called me, went down and looked at it, it went home with me. But it sat in that garage probably 30 years.
30 years. What was on top of it?
It was just dirt, and I think there was some cardboard on there. It wasn't a whole lot on it, but there was stuff on top of it.
How long did it take you to polish it out and make it look like this?
Actually, I took it home and washed it with water. It wasn't this shiny, but it pretty much come out this way.
That's incredible. And this is up here in the Northeast?
Yes, it's actually about 2 miles from here. The car was originally purchased a block away from here.
That's why you can keep it exactly the way it is.
Yes.
So you can show everybody else out there what a real, original, unrestored copy with low miles vehicle looks like.
Looks like, yes.
We'll be right back with more of the Lokar Car Show brought to you by Car Capsule.
couple new things for LS Classic. We've got this, for you truck throttle body guys, we've got an adapter that actually goes on the 4150 flange. We've got a 3D printed part here just to check the clearances and everything. These are going to be 1/8 inch MPT for more vacuum lines that you need. It's offset a little bit because the truck throttle body is offset some. We also have the adapter, which we already make. Then we make an adapter to go on this for a standard carburetor adapter. That's like a 5 and 1/8 inch flange, if I'm not mistaken. So you'll bolt that on. All this we machine in-house, made in US. If you got a favorite air cleaner that you want to use that was on a carburetor, maybe it's sentimental value, you never know, you can adapt that to the truck throttle body. Couple bolts, said standard carbureted air cleaner, put it right on, wing nut, it looks like old school. I'd mention our LS Classic fuel rails helps that as well.
Welcome back to the Lokar Car Show, brought to you by Car Capsule.
It's a 1957 DeSoto Adventurer convertible. There were 300 convertibles made, 1,650 hardtop. This is one of 11 known in existence.
One of 11. Has it been restored?
No, it's all original.
All original.
Except for, well, it was repainted in 1961, so.
1961 it was repainted.
Yeah, I've owned it since January in 1960.
Wow,
It was my senior year car.
You've owned it since 1960?
60. When I went to Nam in 64, my dad said, he'll be waiting for you when you get home.
Oh man, thank you for your service. That is very cool.
Appreciate it.
When it sat and your dad stored it for you, what year did you take it out and give it love again when you came back? What year?
Oh, that was 67.
67.
Well, I've had it since the day I bought it.
It never sat for a period of time?
Yeah,
Nothing got stuck on top of it?
No, it sat for when we had kids and stuff. Most of the time it was runnable.
Now, are you finding parts for it? Like, let's say you needed something?
I haven't had any trouble whatsoever. Of course, I've never had to hunt body parts or anything like that, but as far as motor parts and steering parts and stuff like that, I had no problems whatsoever.
How many miles a year do you put on it?
I put on usually around less than 2,000. We go to 3 shows a week.
As long as you drive it, it's going to stay conditioned and it'll just keep on running.
Yeah.
It's when you stop driving it that things occur and they start to fall down. That's why you look so good at your age.
Yeah, I try.
I'm here with Ken, and you don't hear this story very often. This gentleman has owned this 64 Corvette since he was 18 years old. How long would that be?
59 years. I enjoyed a lot of it.
There you go.
But I raced it, used it as the only car that I had. I had it with me in the military. It sat outside the barracks. It was, it's been well used before I restored it.
And at some point you painted it yellow.
It was yellow from 1966 to 2009.
You're kidding me, that's a long time.
Yeah. People see the car that knew the car back 40 years ago, but they don't realize it's the exact same car.
Now you said that this thing was a very rare option car, that it's a possibility. It could be one of one.
One of one according to C2 registry. They came back, I gave them all the options, reported it to them, and they came back telling me it was one of one.
That's even better.
Yeah, I had the car put away and I started having children in the late 70s and put the car away in about 1981 and it didn't come back out till 2009.
When you say you started the restoration, how much of it did you do?
I did a lot of the mechanics on it. I paid a guy to do the paint work. I stripped the old paint off and he basically did the body work and paint. I did all the mechanics.
What made you want to go back to the original color?
Just make it original. I became real interested in an organization called NCRS, National Corvette and Restoration Society.
Yes.
And I wanted to get the car judged and I got it judged in Columbus, Ohio. Right after it was done, I got top flight, top award. So I was really happy with it.
Very cool story. Good job for keeping it all these years. I know that was tough.
Yeah.
Very good job, Ken.
Thanks.
We'll be right back with more of the Lokar Car Show, brought to you by Car Capsule. Welcome back to more of the Lokar Car Show, brought to you by Car Capsule. I'm here with Paul and his beautiful Coronet. How long have you had this Coronet, Paul?
About 10 years.
Yeah, did you buy it in this condition?
I did not. The paint was the way you see it. I touched up a few areas, but the rest of the car, I restored all the wiring and the drivetrain, wheels and tires, brakes.
So I see you redid the hood.
Yes.
Did you add that scoop, or is that something you fixed on the hood?
I did add that scoop. That's from a Glass Tech fiberglass. I just wanted to give it the 60s nostalgic for stock look.
Yes.
So that's why I put the hood on it and this hood scoop. Yeah.
And you've had it for 10 years, and you plan on keeping it for a very, very long time?
I do. I don't have any intentions on getting rid of this. It's a fun car. It's an instant friend maker. I've heard people tell me that they took their driver's test in these cars.
This would have been the family car back in the day, right?
Yeah, it would have been a family car, yeah.
So what didn't the Roadrunner come from this car?
I believe the Charger evolved from the Coronet. Yes, the 66 and 67 Charger fenders, and there's some body panels. I believe the fenders, doors, hood may be the same.
So what do you plan on doing with it in the future? Do you plan on adding horsepower or doing an engine swap?
I'm thinking of adding maybe a fuel injection system, maybe like a Holly Sniper. The original engine was a 273 small block V8.
What transmission is behind it?
It's a 833 4-speed.
833 4-speed, so that would be something that is Chrysler Mopar.
Yes.
Not a top loader, not a Brock Crusher, anything like that.
No, it's a factory Mopar transmission. So.
Very nice. I'm here with Bob Evans. No, not that guy. He's got himself a Survivor Coronet, full Survivor. The only thing he's done is really add an MSD ignition to it for a little bit of reliability and some bling in the way of valve covers and an air cleaner.
Correct.
Tell me about your Coronet.
When I was a kid, I had a Super Bee.
Yeah?
And I always wanted another one, so I was scrolling the internet and come across this down in Virginia. So I made 4 trips to Virginia before I decided to buy it. I trailer hauled it home, cleaned it up a little bit.
Were you surprised as to what you were getting?
Yes.
Because it's crazy, as you're cleaning it,
Right.
you're seeing it, it's actually coming clean and everything
Correct.
is pretty cool, except for just a little bitty tiny rust in the rear quarters at the bottom
Right.
you can't even see.
Yeah.
How long did it sit in Virginia for, do you know?
I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell
And
you.
being up here in the Northeast, being Virginia, Pennsylvania,
Right.
you guys have salt, you have snow, and you would think this thing wouldn't survive, but it is solid.
When I went down the first time, it was in a garage.
Wow.
When I went down the second time, it was sitting out in the yard. And I told my son, I said, I'm buying it. Before
Yeah.
I even took it for a ride or anything, I said, I'm buying it.
So besides the few little upgrades that you did to make it safer, have a little bit more power, do you plan on doing anything else to it?
I was going to turn it into a Super Bee, but I've got so many compliments on it the way it is.
Yeah, man,
So
because you know, the clones are so many out there. You never see what the clones started from.
Correct.
Have an original copy with the original paint, the original interior.
Correct. I have won trophies at a couple shows because of the way it is, so I decided just to leave it alone.
I'm here with Carrie with a beautiful 71 Camaro, right?
Yes.
Built by Kurt. You guys know him. He's built the Barracuda and the Corvette that we have covered in years past. He's very talented.
This is a 71 Camaro.
All right.
It started life as a 354 speed. We put an LS3 in it, and now it's a 5-speed. Love it. Some of the details that we did is we powder coated everything black, have any like straight chrome on it.
I'm seeing the purple flake and the black paint.
The sun's not quite hitting it right now, but it has some nice ghost stripes that we put in here.
Oh, wow, look at that.
And yeah, when the sun gets it, it sparkles, so that's really nice too.
I love the color on the bumpers. That's really nice.
So it's just finished. It took about 2 years, I'd say, to get it completed. We had the original car. It was actually at our neighbor's house, and we kept walking by. We saw it under the tarp, and then one day the tarp blew off, and we said, oh, that's it. So we left a note in the mailbox, and the guy called us, and here we are. You can't tell too much right now, but the shifter's painted the same color as the car.
Yeah.
The steering wheel, we took a long time figuring that out. It's beautiful. We love it now. But we went through a bunch before we picked the one we really wanted. We actually thought about keeping the original, but we didn't in the end. And now, of course, I love this. It has like little soft fuzzy velour on it and everything with the leather. It's great.
Suede and leather together.
Yeah, it's
Very
beautiful.
nicely done. The stitching on the center console. I see you got yourself an up-to-date audio system.
Yes,
You have
which is
Bluetooth
important.
connectivity and everything.
Yeah, it has 2 connectors in there. One is for just to charge your phone, and the other one's to connect to everything.
We'll be right back with more of the Lokar Car Show brought to you by Car Capsule. Welcome back to more of the Lokar Car Show brought to you by Car Capsule. The Family Video Store on Main Street is the perfect backdrop for the Crackle Fest. You better be prepared when these guys start their engines. Everywhere you look, there are families and friends having a great time. That's what the car shows are all about at the Heritage Days Super Cruise in downtown Greenville, Pennsylvania. Promoter Bill Sumners knocks it out of the park every year. I'm here with Paul and his beautiful Camaro Z28 that was a race car until he got his hands on it about 1.5 years ago.
It's a 71 Camaro. It was born as a Z28. The original motor is long gone. It was a race car almost all its life. It actually sat for 20 years. I bought it 1 year ago. Took the slicks off, took the centerline wheels off, lowered it, put cowl tracks on it, put coilovers on the front, added a 6-speed Tremec to it, and I drive the heck out of it.
You drove it 1.5 hours?
I drove 1.5 hours to get here. The only problem with that is it still has a 12-gallon fuel cell, and it gets about 9 miles to a gallon. So I stop at a lot of gas stations, but when you're old like me, gas stations are good.
I see it looks very nice. Is this the condition that you got it in after sitting for 20 years?
I did a lot of buffing on it. I did a little bit of spotting in on it.
Do you think that that motor in there was the last motor?
That was the last motor in the car when it was raced.
How much power? Is it a fast one?
Yeah, it's pretty quick. I mean, you know, with a 6-speed in it, the first 4 gears, it's got 4 10 gears. So the first 4 gears, you can slam them pretty hard. Then you put it in 5th and 6th and you can cruise along. Now last year I had a Turbo 400 in it right after I got it because that was the tranny that was in it when they originally raced it, or they raced it at the end. I drove it about 200 miles on one trip and I thought I'd never get there because the motor's winding like 3,500 to $4,000 to keep up with 70-mile-an-hour traffic. But I made it to good guys and had a good time.
I'm here with Roger, and just when you couldn't think that the TRX could get any better, he's got his Max Motive 2022 Ram TRX 6-wheel, 3-axle, full-time 4-wheel drive. I'm gonna have him tell you all about it.
It's called the Warlord, and not a lot of them built yet. It's got a Hemi in it,
Yep.
You know, a Hellcat motor with 850 horsepower.
Yep, 6.2 liters. That's
Yeah.
a very capable truck.
Drives just like a regular truck, even with the quad wheels in the back.
It's just a little bit harder to park, right?
Yeah, it's bigger.
It's all fully built to handle all the horsepower that Mopar has given you in that truck.
That's
and what
true.
you guys did was you made it a seamless dual axle on the back. It looks like it came from the factory. Very nicely done over at Max Motor.
We go to all the car cruises. We try to get our name out there with a limited slip. I
Yeah.
mean, you can go around a tight turn and no dragging, no nothing.
So you guys must have gotten a
It's
donor
amazing.
TRX or something and took the same rear end out.
Exactly.
For it to handle the horsepower, you have to have the same rear end.
It's a 6-wheel drive truck.
Now, who came up with the name Warlord?
Actually, the factory did.
Really?
Yeah.
Perfectly done, nice and tasteful. I like that all you guys did was add the other axle and leave everything else the same.
Yeah.
So it's subtle, but it makes you think when it drives by. Bill, once again, you knocked it out the park.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
This is incredible.
I'm quite sure this is a record turnout we've got.
Yeah, man, beautiful weather, absolutely crazy. Every year we see new cars here.
Yes, we do. There's cars here I've never seen before. They're from everywhere.
They are from everywhere. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, what do you got in your hand this year as a trophy?
Well, this is our 16th year, so I decided to come up with a Sweet 16 trophy, and I obviously had to be candy related. Here we have a custom gumball machine. I bought the gumballs. My friend Kurt Rote, who builds custom cars here in town, he CNC machined this top out of aluminum, etched the logo, and powder coated it for me, and it actually holds the gumball machine on. And it's a working bank. You can put money in it and save it for your next car.
That is so unique. You
Yeah.
know, 16 years is so impressive.
Yes.
And every year you guys have to come up with a unique trophy, don't you?
Well, I was thinking this is going to be a one and done. I may have created a monster, not a first for me. I think we're probably going to have to do this again. I think there's a lot of people that saw that here. I've had people say, hey, look, I'm here for that.
You got people judging out there right now?
Yeah, there's 10 judges running around here somewhere. They're just a group of car guys. We categorized it a little bit, you know, so we could have, like, we get a street rod, a custom, things like that. We don't want to just pick one genre.
This is probably one of the cities that comes to life the most that we have a car show and cover. I want to thank you again, Bill, for having us out here.
Thank
I
you,
can't
sir.
wait to be out here next year.
You'll be here again next year.
Look at this total period correct trailer attached to the Fairlane car. This is absolutely awesome. This is what Greenville, Pennsylvania is about. The Heritage Day Super Cruise. What a phenomenal car show. Every single year that people come from such a long distance to bring their cars out. We're talking some high quality, very expensive cars coming out here to show their car off every year. Make sure to look up the Heritage Day Super Cruise. Come over here. Bill Sumners and the whole crew do such an awesome job throwing this car show the first Saturday of July every year. For me, that's a wrap.